Good morning, my brothers and sisters. Good morning, and welcome to another Good Morning Grief Devotion. This is your boy, Pastor Corey Allen Sr. So happy and excited to have this time and this opportunity to come to you on today. This is the daily grief devotion that is strategically designed to help you to navigate through your grief one day at a time. What is grief? I'm so glad you asked. Grief, my brothers and sisters, it is the natural and normal response to loss, change, and transition that results from the expressions of feelings and emotions. Grief is what you feel on the inside. Mourning is what you reveal on the outside. Therefore, we don't suppress it, but we express it. We don't ignore it, but we explore it. We don't conceal it, we reveal it. We don't lock it up, but we let it out, and that's why we shout, "Good morning, good morning, good morning," because mourning is a good thing. I don't care what them woke people tell you. Mourning is a good thing. You need to mourn. Express outwardly what you feel inwardly. So happy, so excited to have this wonderful opportunity to come to you on today to lead you in a very special way in our grief devotion. Today is day 53. This lesson is for you and for me. We're going to talk about I speak a love language. I speak a love language. Let's get to it, y'all. In his landmark 1995 book, The Five Love Languages, author Dr. Gary Chapman introduced the idea that human beings feel cared for by others in five primary ways. If you have not read The Five Love Languages, it is an awesome book. He talks about how we feel loved and cared for in five different ways. And you got to discover what your love language is. You can actually Google like love language test, and you can take a test to kind of see what your love language is. And I love it because we all have a love language, right? Let's talk about it. We feel cared for by others in five primary ways. It's good to learn what your language is so that, I say this all the time, you got to teach people how to treat you, right? You got to teach people how to treat you. And once you know what your love language is, right? And people say, like, if there's anything you need, you know how to respond, right? Or when, when people, they are meaningful and they want to do something nice, when you know what your language is, you want people to speak your language, right? So just let's check this out. Quick lesson today. Check this out. Here's the five love languages. Number one is receiving gifts. There are people who love to receive gifts, and it doesn't always have to be. It doesn't have to be a Chanel bag, Louis or Gucci or whatever the case may be. It can be small, get whatever the case may be. But there are some people who just love to receive gifts, right? Number one is receiving gifts. Number two is spending quality time together. Quality time with you. There's some people, they don't want no gift. They just want some cute tea, right? Quality time. Just come holla at your boy one time for the one time. Gifts, you know what I'm saying? If you're grieving, going through, there's people who just love to receive gifts, right? Oh, gift card, so I don't have to cook dinner. Oh, you bought over a covered dish. Oh, that was so thoughtful. It was so thankful. You think about it, and I don't know if you consider it gifts or not, but when you're grieving and going through, people show up with food anyway. They show up with food. They show up with stuff. Those are gifts, right? that they show up with all type of stuff. I try to show up with some paper towels and toilet paper because you're going to have a lot of people at the house that week. That stuff we don't consider. Some water, some other things. There are people that love to receive that. Some people love, number two is quality time. Just some cute tea. Spend some quality time with me. You ain't got to say nothing, just your presence, right? I tell my family, like, what you want for Father's Day? Nothing, just chill with me. Let's go out to eat and just sit. Let's talk. Afterwards, don't get on your phones. Let's just sit and talk and reminisce. Let's just spend some time together. That's it's quality time. I just love some quality time. Just enjoy, not your presents. Those are gifts. I don't want your presents. I want your presence. You see that? I don't want your presents with the T. Nah, I'd rather have your presence, right? Quality time. Quality time. So number one is gifts. Number two is quality time. Number three, hearing words of affirmation. There are people who love words of affirmation. Attaboy, good job, you the bomb, you the best. Oh, you're so awesome. You're such a great husband. You're such a great wife. You're such a great individual. There's people who love words of affirmation. Affirm me. That's what God did when Jesus was baptized. He said, "This is my beloved son in whom I'm well pleased." Words of affirmation, right? Some people love to be affirmed. Number four, being the beneficiary of acts of service. Some people love acts of service. Oh, you wash the dishes. Oh, you cook dinner. Oh, you, you know what I'm saying? Acts of service. That I'm performing these acts of service for you that you ain't got to do it, right? And there's some people, their love language, if you want to speak their love language, acts of service, right? Acts of you do them a service, do them a great service. It's like, oh my God, they're so grateful, so appreciative of acts of service. Number five, experiencing physical touch. Some people, there's a healing power in physical touch, right? And whether it's, a hug, whether it's a kiss, whether it's holding hands, whether it's whatever, you know what I'm saying? In some cases, intimacy, right? But there are some people that just love physical touch. They they love and physical touch is so important in so many different aspects. Sometimes church is the only hug people get, right? Or a handshake or just an interaction, right? But these are the five love languages. Check this out. Which is my preferred love language? You got to ask yourself, which is my preferred love language? Which one do you prefer? Do you prefer receiving gifts? Do you prefer spending quality time together? Do you prefer hearing words of affirmation? Do you prefer being the beneficiary of acts of service? Do you prefer experiencing physical touch? Yeah, I'll drop it below. What's your preferred love language? Drop it below one time for the one time. Here it is. I'm learning to be aware of it, and I'm learning to ask others to support me by speaking that love language. This is why this lesson is so important. As you go through grief, as you go through this thing, you have to learn to be aware of your language. And you ask people to, so first of all, awareness is everything. Self-awareness is everything. Being aware of where you are and how you are and why you're wired. Awareness is everything, and you have to be aware of of how you are and why you're wired, right? And this is so important because if you really want, it's not that you're unappreciative, right? But if your love language is quality time, and people like, well, I bought you gifts. Well, I mean, I bought you gifts. Well, I had your yard cut, and those are things I appreciate. But if you love the quality time and you tell people, you treat people how to teach you, I just want your presence. You ain't got to buy me no presents as in gift, but just give me your presence. Spend some time, spend an hour with me, right? Or if your love language is acts of service, right? And people, I just wanted to come and spend some time with you. While I appreciate that, my love language is acts of service, right? Can you cut my grass? Or can you trim my hedges? Or can you acts of service, right? Can you run me to the store? Whatever the case may be. What you have to know your love language, right? You got to know your love language. And once you are aware of that, as you navigate through your season of grief, I'm learning to be aware of it, and I'm learning to ask others to support me by speaking that language. People always ask, let me know if there's anything I can do for you. Let me know if there's anything you need, just let me know. When you know your love language, that you can let them know, hey, I'm so glad. Hey, if if you ain't got to, but if you so desire, a gift card over there, so I ain't got to fix dinner, I still got these kids. And sometimes when I come home, I just don't have the energy. And I mean, because I can always stop and just grab something. And that's taking care of dinner for even. I mean, that would be a lot. You know what I'm saying? And so when you are aware of what your language is and you let other people know, it helps you to navigate through your season of grief, right? And they ask, and this is the other thing. Some of y'all got to learn how to receive. Some of y'all so used to giving, y'all don't know how to receive. Y'all don't know how to let people bless you. Y'all don't know. And when I say y'all, me too. Here recently, I'm getting better. I'm getting better. People want to do stuff. You ain't gotta do that. You ain't always wanting to be the one that gives, never wanting to be the one to receive. Some of y'all need to learn how to receive. And people want to bless you, let them. When people want to treat you, let them. When people want to give you gifts, let them. When people want to give you acts of service, let them. When people want to, let them, right? We have to learn, as long as ain't no hidden agendas, motives, or no strings attached, right? We don't want no Mr. Nate stuff involved. But we have to learn how to receive. Check this out, y'all. Which is my preferred love language? I'm learning to be aware of it, and I'm learning to ask others to support me by speaking that language. Here's the final thought. I understand that my love language will be reflected in my grief language. I understand that my love language will be reflected in my grief language. Self awareness is everything. And as you navigate through this thing called grief, if you are self aware of your love language, it can be reflected in your grief language. It can be so helpful and so beneficial when you understand how you need to be loved as you navigate through this season of grief, and how you can how others can come alongside of you to support you. I want to challenge you, y'all. If you just Google 5 love language tests, I know there's a number out there, and they got free ones. Take a just take Google it. It'll come up on computer. Take your test to discover, and some of you may already know. I know what my language is. Take the test to discover what your love language is, so that people can love you as you navigate through your loss. Right? Let people love you properly. Right? When I say properly, because you want them to speak your language, let them love you properly as you navigate through this season of grief, this season of loss, change, and transition. It's your boy, Pastor Corey Allen Duncan Sr. I'm on the move today, baby. I got a long way to go and a long time to get there. I love y'all with the love of the Lord. Hope and pray y'all have a thriving Thursday. Hope this lesson was a blessing to each and every one of y'all. Hang on, hold on, help is on the way. Um, yeah, go take the test. Go take the test. That's y'all's homework. Go take the test. Know what your love language is. I love y'all with the love of the Lord. Let's go.